talking about the guy was obviously disturbed.
Yeah.
But the sort of bigger issue is the system that he's in. There's a phrase that pops up quite a lot, and it's said by the governor and the guards and the inmates, and it's that's not my problem. So it seems to be that passing the buck or things like that are the reason this could happen, something like this could happen.
The biggest message, ultimately, which is why that writing's there at the end, is to kind of say, well, look, that is our narrative, that's our story, but at the same time, this was the number one thing.
Yeah, because basically everyone was to blame in a way.
Yeah, they were, and as we say at the end, you know, they kind of got away with it.
Yeah, because I was expecting that they say at the end that this made they changed the system where you don't sell things like that, or the
nothing's changed.
I think
If
it's actually overcrowding as well.
From what we're hearing, it's worse, and you know, there are. I think sooner rather than later, it's going to be coming out. You know that those young offenders institutes are bad, and I mean we know they've been bad. They've been bad for a long time. The Borstalls back in the day were bad. These are bad. It was bad in 2000. I mean 2000 not even that long ago. I was 16. I remember standing on the embankment in London. Still remember that year, for Millennium Night, and I'm thinking, God, 2000. This was still going on there. But the ridiculous part of it is it's still happening now. So I mean, we were speaking with the Zahid Mubarak Trust, which is run by his uncle, MTR's and he, you know, he works with young offenders still now, inspired on obviously because of what happened to his nephew, and he's saying it's just a vicious cycle, you know, and there's no, you know, I mean, for my personal take on it is these things aren't working full stop. So I think something else would need to be done with it, but I'm not going to sit there and say what the answer is, but they're not working.
I don't know if you've seen a film called A Prophet.
Yes,
French
I have.
film.
Yeah.
Did that inspire you in any way? Because
I think one of my favourite films, The Prophet, is. I watched it a lot leading up to. I watched it a few times leading up to making this, and there were certain things that influenced me in it, but still, that's quite grey. There's a lot. That's the other thing about that film is it's set over 15 years, maybe. Our film was set over 6 weeks, so I couldn't be influenced too much by that because there's a huge character arc within The Prophet, whereas our film is 6 weeks.
Gangster piece, you know. I mean, those other characters in it are essential in A Prophet. Whereas in this, you know, they're kind of the other characters in our film are almost. They're just pillars which revolve around, you know, but they're not really they're not the story. No. You know, they're almost props which kind of where you hit them and you bounce off them at certain points because you need those bits of information, you need that thing to happen. You know, A Prophet is a film that did that brilliantly, but I think our story was never going to be able to do that kind of on that scale. Do you know what I mean? It's an epic. It's a Godfather of the prison.
Yeah, and I was just thinking because that also had
the guy that he killed. That did that. But I mean, the thing about that is that you saw them together, whereas with our film you couldn't ever see them together, and so I looked at things like The Prophet for that reason, and the Eric Cantona film, looking for Eric, where Eric appears. But then there's moments in that where he's out jogging and his friends look at him and Eric's not there, and then it cuts back and Eric's there. So that I was influenced a bit by that. I
think for me, writing it as well with there was an idea of The Kiss of the Spider Woman, William Hurt, the conversation between these two guys, which is just they shouldn't kind of an odd conversation we have in the cell between these two people and these kind of different characters, you know, which even though they're the same guy, they're different people, two completely separate characters within the same mind. That was something I thought about with the writing aspect of it. Although somehow at the beginning, I think, what was it you said, like, when we were talking about that thing, you were talking about Tom Hanks with Ball, you know, in Castaway. We were thinking, we need our Ball.
We need our
Wilson.
Yeah, we need our Wilson.
And we always called
that was early. We thought that early on.
Yeah. Oh, we always thought alter ego was our Wilson in some ways, you know, our way of telling the story.
Now I'm going to think of Wilson as being some sort of psychotic.
Yeah, next time you see the film, he's going to have a tattoo on it.
That film was just him on an island, wasn't it?
Great.
The film,
great performance.
He still had that relationship with Wilson. It was not the same relationship as alter ego and Stuart. But
so, do you think you guys are the next Michael Fassbender?
I wouldn't want to cast such bold judgments. I mean, you know.
What do you think?
Yeah,
I'd love that then.
I mean, I think
I'll give you my pitch for my film about a robot that comes back in time to stop the Irish potato famine. So are you two going to partner up again?
Yeah, I think we're going to. I think we've got another film we're going to make soon, hopefully. I mean, this was I guess in some ways an experimental film as well, because we hadn't seen many films that were like this with that one person playing the two and doing that. So we think it works, and we think we're happy with it. We're proud of it.
It was tough to shoot Leeshon on his own with no one else in the room, and to make it cut well and to believe the relationship. It was tough.
I think next time we might go for something a bit
more
straightforward, a bit more conventional. Still powerful, something powerful, something
true
story
based
on some kind of. We've got a couple of other very big true stories, something more historical maybe.
I like the fact that you've taken something that was a big deal at the time and then largely forgotten and brought it back into the public eye, because I think that's keep that all.
It's important. It needs to be seen.
That's the really. I mean, forgetting all the possible people liking the film or plaudits, whatever. That is the number one thing. If we can get that back in the public awareness, I mean, when you're sitting with Zahid's uncle, who's the number one guy for the Zahid Mubarak Trust, and you're sitting there with him, then you're kind of like, wow, we really need to get this kind of back out there, because they've been waiting so long for it to kind of come out again. And it's the film is great for that, isn't it? I mean, films are there, but they can make people pay attention to something again, when something's been forgotten.
Did you get to keep that awful orange jumper?
I've got it in my flat. If you're ever in London, I can show you where, bring it out.
I'd be scared.
It'd be a bit
Put
weird.
it on, I'd be like, oh.